Okay, in this session we're going to be doing something that we forgot to do a long time ago, which was a woolly bugger. Everybody's got to know how to do that. But we're going to do one anyway. Starting off with a Mustad 9671 streamer hook, 2XL, size 10, I believe. Size 10. We'll just use UTC 70, which is my preferred thread for pretty much everything except for silk. It's really much. You like that?
It's very versatile.
Yeah. Pretty much the only thread you're going to need for anything. Start off the fly, little catch at the top, and work your way down the shank, close turns, to the bend or right between the barb and the point. Trim it off. You get a little goober if you don't do it right, but that's fine. So as we all know, or if we don't, we'll be using a tail of marabou.
It's really a hallmark of the woolly bugger.
Which is probably my least favorite material, but this is the meat fly. If you have to catch a fish anywhere you go, especially, you know, west of here, it's really all you need. They work very well on our home river too. Good streamer fly. Just a little tail marabou. I use the tips. I like the tips.
And you prefer a blood quill?
Blood quills are the only way to go. Just pinch it at the end. Make one wrap. That'll fluff it up right at the top of the hook. 2 turns will secure it in, and it's about the length of the body, even on this small of a hook. It's about the length of the body, as you can see, or the body which is going to appear soon. Trim it off, and then go ahead and tie on your hackle. What we're using for this hackle is going to be a hen hackle. You can use a dry fly. It really doesn't matter for this fly. Really nothing matters for this fly. There's so many different variations, colors, materials that you can use. But we're going to be using a Collins, actually this is a very rare Collins. It's a honey dun, which I probably shouldn't be wasting, but there's a lot of big feathers at the back, so I selected one that suits this fly rather well. It's a 2-tone feather. And basically we will tie it in at the tip, the back of the fly. This will save us. You can tie it in at the base in the front and then have a rib going back to tie it off. However, if you just strip it back and tie it in between, it works a little bit easier for you. Tie that in. Pull up the waist, trim it off, and then just work your way back down. Building up bulk in the middle, especially when you're using UTC, is no big deal at all, because we're going to cover up everything with the next step being a chenille body. Now, a lot of beginner fly tiers, when they go to start tying woolly buggers, they're going to take their chenille and they're going to tie it right in. However, what you really want to do is you want to strip off about a centimeter. For those of us that aren't that used to the metric system, 1/2 inch is fine. And that'll build up way less bulk when you're tying up in a woolly bugger body, if you're using chenille, which is 99.9% of woolly bugger bodies. So I tied it in. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple wraps. We're going to wrap it close to the tail and then just palmer the chenille forward, make sure you advance your thread to about an eye length behind the eye of the hook. And just continue palmering the body forward. And that's where you're going to go ahead and just tie it off by pulling your thread up straight, pulling whatever material down, this being chenille, and trapping it in like so. 3 turns and you are good to go to trim.
Now, Hugh, if this was your card of chenille, would you have used like 8 times as much as
well,
you needed?
we can put it back in the bag. This is enough for a couple, but it's easy to work with when you trim off a little bit more than you need. But yes, I usually trim off a pretty good sizable section and then just stick it right back in my bag.
Good to know.
Which is going to happen, most likely. Alright, then basically we just palmer this forward and it's going to cross. As we palmer it, just take the fibers and pull them back. And pull them back after every turn. And the reason I tied it in this at the tip as opposed to the butt is so that they gradually get a little bit bigger, or longer rather, and a little bit webbier at the top. And then just do 1, pull them back, 2 turns at the front, pull them back, and you'll get a couple. Go up, trap in your stem, trim your stem, pull everything back, and create a nice neat thread head for your woolly bugger. Try not to hit your really rough, gross fingers with it because it'll split your thread. Whip finish. And then I'm using white thread. I usually just buy one color thread for everything, and then I have my trusty Edding markers, pens. They're lacquer based, so you don't even need head cement. You just color them. Color the head. And that is pretty much the same as applying head cement with these markers, which is a beautiful thing. And these they make a bunch of different sizes, but these 102, 142, the medium tips, make great markers for coloring in heads because they're fine enough that you can color size 24 head with them, no problem. So there it is, the olive woolly bugger. Quite exciting.
She's a beauty.
How's it look?
Looks good.